So a list represented in Python, and I choose, you'll notice, to name my lists with an AR prefix. That's because every other language uses the word array. Most other languages, I suppose I should say, not every other language, but most languages refer to a list as an array. Okay, so an array is just the vernacular that I'm used to with other languages, and so sometimes I'll slip back and forth. But a list and an array, for the purpose of this class, are the same thing. And you could start your variables with li or ar or a or l, or as usual, you can name your variables whatever you want. I typically use ar out of habit because it makes sense to me when I'm using multiple different languages. So that's what you'll see in any code that I do, and that's the explanation for it. But an array or a list looks like this. It uses square brackets. Okay, these are not parentheses, they're square brackets. And it has a number of items from 0 to infinity that are separated by commas. So you could have an empty list called AR pets. And sometimes you want to create an empty list at the beginning of your program because you know you're going to add something to it later. So you would do that by saying AR pets equals, and then just a pair of square brackets with nothing in it. That creates an empty list called AR pets to which you can add things later on. I can have any kind of variable in here or any kind of object, including other lists, including dictionary objects, including even classes and objects later on, as we'll see. Lists are very handy for organizing things, for keeping things together as a collection, and for structuring your data. They are ordered, which means dog is going to stay here in the first position no matter what I do, unless I explicitly change the order of this list. So it'll always read dog, cat, fish, bird, unless I change that order. So ordered means the order of things in that list is sticky. It stays put. That's useful to know. It is also what we call an indexed list. Indexed means that I can refer to these things by what's in them, the string dog, or I can refer to them by their index number, starting with 0, 1, 2, and 3. There are 4 items in that list, but the first item in any list is item index number 0. Important to remember because you will forget at some point and refer to that item as number 1. And if you have, let's say, a loop that refers to these items by their index, and you start at 1, you'll say 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'll get an error here because the index 4 does not exist. That would be the 5th element in this list. You'll also skip over dog because you never set index 0. So just keep that in mind. The index always starts with 0. But these are ordered and indexed, meaning dog is going to be item 0 until you change it. You can change it, which is what mutable means. I can add things, I can take things away, I can reorder them. All of that is what mutable means. I can change them. They're just going to stick until I do. And like I said, you can have any object or any type of object in an array. So an array is really useful for storing things. By the way, I don't have to have all the same data type in here. I could just say like 42 at the end. Probably not a great data structure, but you can. You can have multiple types of data here. So the cool thing about these is that it really gives my for loop some power here now. So anytime I use a for loop with an iterable, which is what a list is. Anything you can go through one at a time is an iterable. So I would say for x in AR pets, print is my favorite animal. And when I run that, it's not the best Englishing, but you get the idea, right? So it allows me to very quickly, very powerfully take a set of data and I can do the same action to each piece of that data. I could feed those into a function one at a time. I could do a lot of things. And remember, I can also, if I use the random, import random x, oops, here we go, x equals random choice. We just use this one, right? AR pets. So now it'll choose a random animal and put that in the sentence. So you can do all kinds of things with lists, and they are very useful.